Hi, and welcome to Visionary Passive Income, a workshop that I did a few weeks ago. I'm Leisa Peterson, and what I'm doing is introducing you to a concept that's going to likely be new for you. We've all heard of passive income, also semi-passive income, but what I've realized is that it is really important that when we go out to create passive income, it is tied into the blueprint of who we are, what's most important to us, what are our values, and what do we want to do as far as our business is concerned. So I have developed in my own life about 8 streams of passive income that equal over $30,000 a month. And my goal is to show you how you can do this for yourself. Granted, this is a longer workshop because I'm going to be showing you the 7 different chakras, how it plays out based on the needs that you feel and find yourself thinking about, and how that ties into the income that you're going to be creating. Stay with me. It's also a great introduction to my work. And then you can decide if you'd like to join us for my passive income Kickstarter challenge that starts Sunday, kickoff party, September 5th, and the official kickoff is on the 6th, Monday. And I'd love to have you join us, but this will tell you if this is going to be helpful for you. It's free to participate. We'd love to have you join us. And I hope that you really enjoyed this workshop. Namaste. So at the end of today's conversation, I'm hoping I'm going to inspire you to want to join us for a free challenge where you'll be learning about how to jumpstart your passive income pathway. Today's conversation is not about the how, it's about the why, like really thinking in your deepest self. Why would you want to do this? Also, how could you start to think about it? And part of the reason that we're doing this a month before the challenge starts is I'm hoping that it gets the reticular activating system going, where you're like, oh, that's what she's talking about. Oh, and that too. Oh, yeah, these are cool things. I want to go to the challenge because I'm going to learn how to go to the next step. Like that's what's happening for you. Okay. That's all that I'm trying to do today. Okay. Like there's nothing being sold. There's just total like planting a seed that inspires you to say, I really need to make time in my life for this. What she's talking about is important to me and I'm ready. And maybe you won't be ready. And that's really fine too. No judgment. Why am I the one here having this conversation? It varies on the day that I put this together, but I'm going to do my best job to kind of explain what's been so fascinating about like kind of this moment is a full circle review of the fact that I started in business ownership at 8 years old. I've been dabbling in it off and on ever since, selling seeds door to door. But what I notice when I look back, especially over this past 30 years in my career or so, I notice a tendency, obviously, to understand money, to master money, but also to understand the mindset that we need to have in order to go out and create the things that bring us the most joy in life. Like that's what I've been mastering. But simultaneous to me learning how to teach people about mindset and about money, I've also been building passive income streams, especially for the past 5 years. And I'm going to go into some of that for you just to give you some ideas of your own journey. But I stand before you, not teaching you something that I'm just popping in and like, oh, I just became a millionaire by doing this in 6 months. Like I am not that person. Everything that I teach is based on many years of experience, trial and error, failure, all that stuff, and also things that work. And I think that's what really stands the test of time with what we're talking about. So again, taking a nice, big, deep breath. And as you bring in that air, that beautiful, wonderful air, and maybe release it a couple times and allow your breath to bring you into your body, bring you into this moment, noticing that your life starts today, just like it does every day, but today, new beginning, new possibility. And just taking a moment to notice what you're ready to let go of. If there's anything top of mind, you're like, yeah, that's not serving me anymore. I'm so ready to let that go. That could be fear. That could be procrastination. That could be
frustration, of things that haven't worked in the past, whatever it is, I invite you to plunk that out. Like, okay, yes, I see you. And I am so ready to release you right now in this moment. And I'm giving you permission to let that go. Maybe it burns up in the candle flame or shreds into a gazillion pieces, or you're giving it back to whomever gave it to you and saying, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for even more. Maybe your life is awesome right now. That's great. Wonderful, beautiful. There's always room for more is what I've learned. Not because it's like more money, more stuff, more whatever, more friends, but there's always room for understanding more of yourself and celebrating in the beauty of you, of your pure soul awareness. So connecting into that, perhaps giving yourself a hug, like, I see you, I love you, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for getting me here. Awesome. Thank you for that. So I'm going to go through this first part quickly because I think that we're going to get it very fast. And then I'm going to have more time to go into the depth of what came through this past weekend. But this difference between what is passive income versus visionary passive income, a term that we're making up right now. Like we just needed a way to show you that there was something different going on. This isn't just, I'll go right into it. IRS definition of passive income: earnings from a rental property, limited partnership, or business in which a person is not actively involved. That's the real definition of passive income, okay? It's the IRS saying you didn't really touch it, so we're going to count that as passive income. That's the spirit of it. But we're hijacking that concept and we're going to give it a new name. But before we do that, part of, it's buy and hold stock investing, long-term real estate rentals, dividend paying stocks, right? You're not running those companies. You're just being able to benefit from the money that's coming in as a result of somebody else running a company that you've invested in. Typically takes a lot of money to create a sufficient income to comfortably live on. Okay. And for a lot of the folks who follow me, they don't have millions of dollars to basically $2.5 million at the most basic level, 4% rule, not going to go into it, equals about $100,000 in annual income. Most of us don't have that. So we need other options, right? We need other options. If we want to have passive income, we need to think about it a little differently, but not just in money. And that's what we'll be talking about in this conversation today. But here, what we're defining as visionary passive income is semi-passive income that's aligned with your highest values and highest priorities. So you're willing to invest in getting it set up, but once it's done, it provides an ongoing opportunity to make more money in less time. That's how I'm defining that. Okay. This is really broad, but we'll go into how to look at that even deeper. The idea of visionary passive income is to shift the pattern of trading hours for dollars, right? So I'm working 40 hours a week and that I'm paid a certain amount for those 40 hours. We're shifting that, shifting the pattern of working too many hours for too little gain. Part of the residual effect of what I'm teaching you is to know when this is happening and not helping you versus know how to very, very strategically arrange your efforts and your time so that you don't get in that trap. No more asking, where is my life going? Many of us have felt that before. Like there's so much time to work and then we're like, what's left over for me? And by creating leverage, we're seeking to earn, $100, depending on where we're at, $500, $1,000, $2,000 or more for every hour invested. Like the sky's the limit. I mean, it can go pretty high, but you get the idea. Like it's not what we are typically used to. Typically, we are taught to measure passive income sources or measure success in passive income by money. How much, what's my return on investment? Okay, that's what most folks outside, that's what they do. But what we're gonna be talking about today is a better measure. And this is like one example. It's not the only end all be all, but things like time freedom, loving what you do, profit potential, sales and marketing alignment, investment, expertise alignment, values alignment. And, you know, just to be clear, like something like values alignment, if you're really big on what's happening on the planet around the environment, that's where that would fit in, right? So your values alignment with all of the things you deeply value fit into that one. But again, you get to make your own bubble with all your different sections, but I'm planting a seed today about why this is so important and why if we only focus on the profit potential, what often happens for many of us, and I'll talk about my own situation with that, we end up getting into something, building something, devoting our life to it, and waking up one day saying, this sucks. How can I get out of it? It isn't what I thought it was going to be because we didn't spend time really getting to know who we are and what's important to us. Is everybody on the same page with me on that? Does that make sense? We don't want to do that. We don't want to build businesses like that either. I mean, some people do, but I'm guessing most of us are kind of beyond that. So who does well at this? I'm going to be really honest with you. This is not a beginner conversation for yourself. And I tried to highlight some of the things that will hopefully sort of make it clear. People who do well at this kind of thing have a strong desire, not only to succeed, but to make an impact in the world. Like your why has got to be big. There's got to be like, I see my life. I see that I want to live it in a better way. And I'm willing to put the time in to create what I really want. Sophisticated and self-aware and won't do things that are outside of alignment with their heart. They love working, okay? This is not an attack on working. That's one of the problems that I see in the self-help world is they talk about work like it's bad. Folks, I love work. And if you don't like work, this is probably not a good conversation for you to be a part of. Like work is awesome when you are working in the work that's aligned with you, just to be clear. That's where we kind of gotten things a little bit messed up. We just want to like throw it all out because we're not necessarily doing work that we love. Strong desire for a long-term income stream, time and lifestyle freedom, patient, resilient, persistent, aren't afraid to put the extra time in, and then have a determination to implement. So those are just a few things that came to mind. Why do it? I'm sure it's pretty clear about the idea that if you could make more money with less time invested. I just got off a podcast conversation and it was so funny because I didn't actually know how much she was making. And, but she had volunteered to be on my podcast to talk about passive income. And so this mom shows up and she's like, I've got 3 kids. I work 15 hours a week and it's just been a mess. I mean, she was really honest about like 4 years of starting this blog. And she's like, I did everything wrong. I'm still dealing with my mindset. I'm struggling. And I'm like, I really hope that this is going to be a good outcome because she's making it sound like I wasn't even sure why we were on the conversation after a while because she was so honest and so humble. And I was like, okay, so let me get this right. You're working 70 hours a month at the most. You've got 3 kids, stay at home. You've been homeschooling, for, this whole time of pandemic. And I'm like, are you willing to share with us, how much you're making? And she's like, I'm really disappointed with this year because she didn't start making money till 2 years ago, folks. She goes, I'm really disappointed. I'm not sure I'm going to hit my targets. And right now, easily $250,000 a year. And I might make it to 500 this year, at least by early next year. 15 hours a week, blogging, selling low-cost products. And she doesn't she's the poster child. If I was like, that's $300 an hour, you're like helping me understand that this is possible. But I'm like, they're out there. People are doing this. And it is so amazing. And she is helping moms budget and pay off debt faster. That's what she does. She has not figured out how to do affiliate income. She has courses and low cost things that she sells online. So I hope that inspires you to understand, like, this is something I wasn't even sure how much she was making. I was like, oh, are you making like 10,000 a month? You know, that was like the top that I was thinking. And then she comes back that, and I was like, okay, so here's some of the reasons, right? But I also, let's see, what's the last one? This is not a declaration of war on work. Work is amazing when you do the right work for you. I'm just going to say that because she talked about the work. Like, she talked about enjoying it and also struggle too. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. So my first question for you is, why do you want to create visionary passive income sources in your life? And I would really appreciate it if you went to chat, shared with us what's coming up for you as you think about just all that I've shared already. Why is this interesting to you? Like, go inside of yourself, go inside of what you're working on in your business. Maybe you don't have a business, you're looking at other ways to do this or supplement. Why are you interested in creating this for yourself? And Jessica, if you wanted to just read a couple of them, that would be great, because I'm not going to mess with chat.
Yes, let's see. So right away, we got to raise money to pay off debt and hire more local staff to operate my business, freeing me up from low value work. Mm-hmm. Yep. And Jennifer, time freedom, financial freedom, wealth building. Mm-hmm. Another, freedom to make more time for my family and to be able to create more fun things. That is very inspiring. Time and location freedom, freedom to stay home, freedom to be a stay-at-home mom. Part need, part desire. Now that I have heart failure, yes, COVID, I need to make more money in less time. But even if it's not for illness, I want to spend time doing what I love.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
For so many reasons, yeah. Spend time doing what we love.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, and keep them coming. We really appreciate it. If something comes to you, just share as we go along. Yeah, it's finding your why that's always going to be very important. And it's okay if that why changes over time. In fact, for most of us, it does. We'll achieve our goals. And then, like this past several months, I realized that I had achieved every goal that I set out. And I was like a deer in headlights, like, wait, I need a new why. I need a bigger why than the one that I was operating from. And that's beautiful. That's awesome. But it wasn't necessarily awesome at the time. I was like, what? I'm like used to being driven. And then I just lost it all right around the time I got COVID. So go figure. So a word about some business models. I do want to talk about this briefly. One-to-one coaching, counseling, service businesses without much leverage, product businesses with low margins. I want to mention this because while one-to-one coaching can be deeply satisfying and amazing, I think that there is a lot of merit, at the very least, to look at how can we construct our business so that we can work less and have potentially multiple streams of income. So we might have one-to-one coaching and something else, okay? So we might just be talking about the something else. This conversation isn't about one-to-one coaching, but if you see this, how to avoid the self-employment trap. And many of us have been caught in this. And once we realize it's happened, it's kind of like, oh, wait, this isn't what I signed up for. This is where the owner of the business is so consumed by his or her day-to-day management of the business, they don't have time or space to step back and focus on building a service, business as a business. In essence, they've built a self-employed job, not a business. And that's so the things that we're teaching and we're talking about is how do we make sure that we don't fall into the self-employment trap? And the conversation here is about helping us do that. Okay, really strategically looking at what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how does that help us create a thriving business. Let's face it, if you're not doing what brings you joy, life eventually weighs us down. When you do what you love, your energy is higher, your enthusiasm goes up, your gratitude goes up, you're going to have more success in whatever you do. And especially when you're able to consistently do high priority, high value things, you become a conscious, joyful creator in your life. And that's just kind of confirming what we've been talking about. So the next question is what's held you back from moving forward in creating more passive income into your model? What things have held you back? Could be mindset, right? I just didn't know that I could. Could be fear. Could be time. I mean, we want to hear. So if you could post things in the chat, and Jessica, just maybe one or two that come up, but I'm curious, what's held you back from moving forward? Know-how, don't have a process, like a repeatable system that I can put in place. It doesn't feel like it fits. Like that might, like I do this, but I don't know what I would do. Like, is anybody gonna like pay me? Am I an expert on anything? Like those could be things that come up too, right?
Yeah,
it's all been done before. Let's see.
I'm seeing fear, time, mindset, and timing, not knowing where to start. Mindset, like not seeing my own value, just like you said. Fear, not knowing where to start. I've created and shared multiple things in the past few years and it's not landed, so missing the product market fit. Mindset and time again. At first it was being caught up in the day-to-day, which I'd say that probably also is time. I'm not sure where to start. Sidetracking, mindset. Oh, this is interesting, mindset. Honestly, feeling like it is cheating. I don't believe that anymore. Okay, good.
Yay, a win. I don't know if that was just from today or in the past, but we'll take it.
Yeah. Feeling like your full-time job has to be first. Fear to fail and lose everything, and the fear of showing up as my authentic self.
Yeah. And we've all been there. We have all been there with these things, right? I think we can all relate. I can relate to every single one of them shared. And, you know, hopefully by the end of this conversation, you'll be again leaning more in the direction of what we're talking about here. If you weren't already, the visionary passive income is about creating from your divine blueprint. And we'll talk about what that means. And we'll talk about how the chakras help us to know that. But what you love, what you need. So I like the comment about feels like it's kind of cheating. That would be one situation. Another would be, I'm bad for wanting that. Like I'm just bad for wanting those things that I want. Or I feel like I'm greedy for wanting those things that I want. But what I hope comes through today is that there are reasons why you feel the way you do about your needs. And if there's one thing I've learned from this work and writing my book, is that we really want to listen to our needs and not ignore them and trust that they're coming up in this lifetime for a reason. And if we push them away, there will be a part of us that feels like we haven't fully actualized in this life. Ignoring needs does not mean they're satisfied. You understand that? So that's what we're going to get into. We're going to talk about the 7 types of visionary passive income, just by chakra. Like I said, this all came to me in the past few days, and I'm already starting to get all these other examples in my mind of like what I could have shared with you. I'm going to do my best, but I just kind of looked at my own life and said, I'm going to use the model from my own life. But as this builds out and gets more robust, I'll have lots and lots of case studies. And I already do of people that have done these things. So we'll see. Not going to go into this right now, but I want you to know that what I'm about to explain this is just one of 3 pages that downloaded for me this weekend of like what we're talking about and how we can get into the specifics. So I don't want to distract too much, but I wanted, oh no, my formatting went crazy. Okay. We're just going to dive into these chakra specific visionary passive incomes. And if you want to close your eyes, it could be like a meditation, but I just want you to feel this more than anything. Okay. I'm going to go by it based on need. So this is what you're going to be listening for as I walk you through this. Okay. The root chakra has a need to be safe. Okay. So when we were young, if we did not feel safe, there is often going to be a tendency And this could be physically safe, right? It could be financially safe. So if you know my story, I grew up in a home where I felt very financially unsafe. So my root chakra was really important to me. It's a need in this life for me, and I'm no longer ignoring that need. In fact, some of the greatest things that have happened for my family in building wealth had to do with satisfying this need. The energetic outcome that we're looking for is I am financially stable and secure, okay, or I'm safe. An example of the root chakra visionary passive income would be real estate for, rental income. But again, one of the other things that downloaded, there's like 20 different ways you can satisfy this need. Real estate's just one of them. Stocks would be another. But what I want you to think about is the root chakra is about grounding. It's about tangible things, right? That we can touch in some cases, even though we can't touch a company. When we're investing in a stock, we're investing in the company. So there is a foundation there. Investing in the stock market would be more of a root chakra thing. If we like it, we're comfortable with it, we understand it, then that can be that role. The pros of going after root chakra passive income is there's a strong cash potential. The con is there's a lot of money often needed to have a high monthly income created by these things. I'm not going to go into the income so much because it just varies so much, but that's a root chakra example. Okay, you with me on that? Real estate is one of those. There's more I can say, but we'll come back and we'll just come back. This is dancing around on my screen. Sorry about that. So we're going to go into sacral chakra. And oh, by the way, my husband and I own a commercial real estate building, and that would be root chakra investing. What's so interesting about it is I'm pretty darn certain that we will be selling it in a short amount of time because we actually don't enjoy it. We don't enjoy managing that property. It's not satisfying for us. And it'll make more sense when I explain the sacral chakra, okay? So sometimes we try things and we realize that's not really what I want to do. My husband has to run over and fix air conditioner in the middle of the night. That's not, not in the middle of the night, but on the weekends, he doesn't want to do that anymore. Like that's not joy for him. And so we're going to be getting rid of it and finding other places to put our money because that's not bringing us joy, right? That's what we're paying attention to. So the sacral chakra, the need is to have fun, to have variety, to play, to have change in our lives. That's the sacral. It's like desire and pleasure and fun. It's a feminine chakra, and that's what it's wanting to have expressed. I have fun making money would be one way that we talk about the sacral chakra. An example, if we really, it's all based on our own personality, but sharing economy, most of the things like Uber and Lyft and RV share, all these sharing economy, a lot of those particular things would fit into the sacral chakra. And the reason that is there's engagement and interaction with other people. And here's where I want to explain, like the good thing is there's a consistent cash flow. The return on investment depends on how much time and money you have invested. Huge variation, but like my own story to just hit home sacral chakra is different than our real estate commercial property. When we moved to Sedona, we built a guest house. We've been renting it on Airbnb for several years, and now we're in the process of building a couple more. So we'll have 4 houses that can be rented out, Airbnb, all next door to each other. Now, my husband and I love the hospitality business. We always wanted a bed and breakfast, but whenever we thought about it and we saw the numbers, we didn't want to do it. But what's so cool about Airbnb is we get to meet people from all over the world. We get to have great conversations. We have so much fun with it, and we make so much money from it. But that isn't for everybody, but that's a playful thing for us. Okay, is it sinking in? Like, we love it. Don't go do something that you don't love. If it's not playful and fun, sacral chakra, you might want to look at the other chakras. Is that making sense? And Jessica, I'm just going to check in.
Yeah, Catherine just shared for sacral, I want to start a fun, engaging club for prospects and clients as an alternative to doing seminars, which tend to be dry. This is my sacral chakra.
It is, and it probably is the heart too. So we're going to talk about that. So perfect. That's a great lead in, because what we'll see is some of these kind of come together, and we might have like businesses that have a few that are really, really you know, side fun networking. I mean, there's so many ways, but hopefully it'll start to sink in. So solar plexus chakra, to feel powerful, capable, and visible. I get stuff done. I accomplish my goals. This is a masculine, energy-oriented chakra that is about expressing your sense of feeling powerful in the world. Okay, so if you know that solar plexus, which it's one of mine, is something that you want to work on, you know you need some help here, then when you think about what you might do next in your passive income strategy, this is where how-to information products enter. Okay, this is courses, ebooks, but notice this is self-study. This is not engaging with other folks. This is like, I'm going to create something, you go do it. I don't need to do it with you. You're going to just take my class and do it. You might do it through Udemy. You might do it because you offer it through your website, but that's one of many. Again, 10 different examples, just one. For us in my business, we have Financially Free that fits this profile. That's a $97 course. We have an Airbnb course that we haven't marketed too much. And then we have Envision 360 Planning. So these are products that we just sell right off of our website. You don't need to talk to us. You can go do it and enjoy it, and all is awesome. The pros, you decide how much time you want to invest, and you don't have to interact with people. That's a good thing for some people. And then the cons, success is dependent in many cases on sales and marketing. Unless you use an app like Udemy where you post your courses and they sell them for you, you make less money. But you know, so that can cut into your profits. So again, in this particular situation, I probably earn a few $1,000s a month. Going backwards, like in root chakra, I think we earn about $5,000 a month in our commercial building. On the sacral chakra, it's more than $10,000 a month. I mean, it just depends, right? We make more money doing the thing that we enjoy more. And that's another thing that you're going to start to notice. Okay, so now I'm going to spend a little more time with heart, throat, and brow, because my guess is many of you are interested in these probably more than anything else. And I want to explain how they work. And this is what was like coming through this weekend, and I was just writing as fast as I could. So the heart chakra is a desire to be loved, to feel appreciated. The energetic outcome is I help people transform inside of community. So I'm going to go back to Catherine. Can you feel that, Catherine? Can you feel the heart chakra? Like feeling this, I help people inside of community. Now, what's so interesting about the heart chakra is you don't have to be an expert here in the heart chakra. You just love people. You want to bring them together. You want them to network. You want them to support each other. Many times people will move out of one-to-one in whatever they're doing, or done for you or done with you, and move into group workshops or memberships based on what people have in common, and then helping people learn and grow in that shared community. Fastest way probably for somebody to make a one-to-one transition is this sort of thing. The marketing and sales are important, especially as you build a business. The learning curve, I'd say the hardest thing about heart chakra is the learning curve for facilitating transformational groups and communities can be steep if you've never done it before. Okay, there's a lot to learn about working with people and making sure that you're creating a really safe and dynamic community. Now, you might also notice you're like, I don't like that kind of thing. Like I had someone write to me the other day and they were like, I have a community, but I'm closing it down because I didn't like that kind of pressure of being kind of on call for people all the time, or having that pressure. It just felt too much. So the chakra was full and all good, and she didn't need that. She's like, I'm going to go back to sacral chakra and focus on courses and letting them do it on their own. Inside of my business, what we created at the beginning of this year was a program called Mindful Millionaire Collective, and Linda's others here in the group. And we ended up having about 45 people in the program, because everyone who works with me gets access to this program. We had a launch of about $25,000. There's 2 other coaches. The other thing about these communities is it's not just all about you. It's like bringing other coaches and other experts in to teach things and help other people. And then I pay those coaches to come in and help the group grow and expand. And I probably setting it up took more time, but I think I spend about 3 or 4 hours a month working on Mindful Millionaire Collective. And we have a Facebook group, $1,000 a year, $97 a month. And then the vision or the offer, just so you can feel what this feels like. So you understand if you're creating it for yourself, something, it's like if I offered to help you feel excited and inspired about money, so you're able to earn more, save more, invest more with the expectation that it helps you build true lasting wealth and gives you personal fulfillment, would you take me up on that offer? And this is kind of fun. Linda, can I put you on the spot for a second? Just because I want to see, like, because you wrote to me the other day and you're like, I love this program, so I feel safe. Like, yes. Do you feel like we're doing that in that group?
Yes, but it's not necessarily been a linear process for me. That, oh my God, I'm so excited and just grooving. It's been great.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, and that's what happens when we're doing transformational work, is it takes time and there's morphs and shifts and all kinds of good stuff. But thank you for sharing that, because I just want to show folks, you know, that it doesn't, these aren't like runaway, I just made the $1 million. This is like what it looks like when you start something and you start getting feedback and you start learning, and everyone knows that we're working together at creating something better for all of us. Like, this is real stuff. This is like being in the weeds sometimes and still having incredible transformation. And I'm wanting to inspire you to think, like, what might you create that could do the same sort of thing? Because I just, again, limitless possibility. Okay, any questions about the heart chakra before I move on? Jessica, are we okay?
Yep, nothing's coming up.
Okay, so throat chakra. So this is about authentic expression, the need to express. You know, going back into inner child work, many of us grew up in homes where I had that dad who was like, it's better to be seen than heard. You know, like that was the thing that just was said over and over and over again. It was a big reason why I think I started business in this way in such later years of my life, because I didn't know how to authentically express, especially in a public way. But many of us have that desire. Like, it's not that I didn't have the desire, I just didn't feel confident doing it. So throat chakra is about leaning into this and like and mastering things. And then I can show you too. This is when we really come into that expert status. This is where like thought leadership starts to get born. Okay. Like, you're owning something. You're really expressing what's coming through you. Niche educational products like our Visionary Cash Flow Creators, which will be launching in the fall, facilitating network groups of people that all kind of are peers, and you're wanting to bring them together so that they can create something better or learn from one another, would be another example of a throat chakra passive income. So you're charging for a networking group. We don't need to go out and start a BNI. We can actually create networking groups on our own. And we enter in because we have actually studied something. We're really a professional in a particular area. And now we're going to bring other people together to spend time and learn. Rebecca, you could create something like that for a real estate community. You see that?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Yeah. And I'm in one of those, and they're charging $1,000 a year. So it's not a huge investment. 150 people in the program. Imagine you have $150,000. You show up 1 hour a month to facilitate everyone else sharing their goodies with the group. $150,000 business. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Wow. It would not be that hard.
Yeah.
There's so much desire to share information, share the things that we know, right, with others. We just need somebody to own it. Like, own it, girlfriend, because that's the only way it's going to happen. So thank you. So let's see. So being well paid for your expertise as a result of meeting the very specific needs. This is when we get into really dialing in who we're helping, ideal audience. We master the process so that you have proof of results before you can charge premium prices to teach others or even to facilitate. You've got to be able to walk the talk if you're going to go out to people who are professionals and charge them to be a part of something that you create. Again, lots of variety. I'll just mention, this is something that's coming in the fall, but is that if we're going to do something like that, and I want to encourage everyone to be thinking about this, you can enter in this passive income journey anywhere you want. But for many of us, we're already busy, dynamic people. I'm just going to ask you to make sure that you set your sights high enough. Like you come up with an idea that has a potential of like $50,000, for example. Like next year, I'd make at least $50,000 doing this, or it might not be worth your time. Is that fair? Because it's going to take some time. And I want you to really don't shoot too low, because there's a good chance you might not make it the first year, but at least you know what you're building, that it could get there. And you're thinking about it from that very strategic standpoint. So how are we doing? I'm doing faster than I thought. Brow chakra. So the brow chakra is all about feeling like you're enough. It's like bringing the intuition, all your life wisdom, the mystical powers, the collective energy field together. And the energetic outcome is we rise together. And this is where you find, these high ticket masterminds where the focus is not just on learning, but it's also who's in the room learning with you. If you've ever heard of these things being out there, people will pay, I haven't done this, but like $100,000 to be a part of a group. And it's one retreat a year. Joe Polish has that, $25,000 start. You go to one 3-day event a year and you pay $25,000, but it's all because of the network that you get to be a part of when you join the group. Okay. Leveraging your network, what you've mastered to bring together profitable ventures where your highest ideals can be supported and expanded and you're well compensated for it. We don't jump into root chakra or brow chakra, businesses. We've really stood the test of time. We've had great success. Now we're going into a whole new phase. Getting to this level of mastery can take many years and many failures, and many people don't have the stamina to stick with it long enough to reach this level of like, I got this. I'm owning it. I'm going to go make money from it. There's a lot of mindset shifts that we have to make in the process. Interesting enough, a year ago, we started a program called I Prosper, right after my book came out in July of 2020. And we decided, Jessica and I, to work together to create I Prosper business and money advisory program. We, I think, have about 15 people in the program now. When we first launched it, it was what I would call a $50,000 launch. It was a beta. We said, we want to do this. We're looking for people who are interested in working with us for 6 months. It was like an all-encompassing digital business mastermind education. Like we would teach you anything you needed to learn about business and mastering sales, mastering marketing. Like we just brought it all to the table. And it was an idea. We went from, let's see if we can do it. And a month later, we had started the program. And it's been, I'll jump to the end, the most personally rewarding experience of my whole entire life. And we started it probably between a heart and a throat chakra, and it's moving into brow chakra. This past week, a couple people that have pretty successful businesses, and they're on the bigger side of the group of business owners that are in the group. They threw out that they're like, we want more time to go back into the university that's available to us, and we want to host calls every Wednesday morning for working sessions. And they didn't even ask me; they just are doing it. And it's like that's when you really know that you're creating something where people are like, I have resources, I want to tap into them. And the group is really oriented to supporting each other. And so that's something that we built. I'm not going to go into that. And then the crown chakra, last but not least. This is very interesting because remember I said earlier when Catherine was talking about sacral or heart, many of us who are spiritually motivated will find that we have crown chakra in our business. But I want to warn you that if it's just crown chakra, it can be a very struggle-based business because people aren't used to paying for what we are giving. It's part of the religious model, right? I'm used to going to church and dropping a couple bucks in the hat. And there's a lot here. And it's part of the reason, like I could have easily, and Rebecca can speak to this, I could have easily gone and just created a crown chakra business. And I think in the beginning, I really wanted to just create this business, but pretty fast into the experience, I was like, I am going to be broker than anyone else. And I'm going to be bankrupt in like 6 months. Like I actually did it for like 2 years. I was like broke. And thank you, Rebecca, for being there for me and showing up and just letting me cry on your shoulder for years. but anything you want to say to that?
No, I think you were very thoughtful in your summary of what was going on. Exactly. You know, it was fun. Starting from the ground up. And it's great to see where you're at now and just knowing, you know, that I was there to help at least go through the hard part.
Yes.
It's inspiring. It's inspiring to me because we've talked a little bit lately and there's definitely some news I want to share, but offline about some opportunities that are coming my way. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, I mean, this is about like, I want to feel spiritually connected. All is love. You know, nothing is excluded from love. It's building these beautiful, spiritually robust offerings for the world. But the challenge for many people who kind of want to operate at this level is it needs to be brought down into the third dimension. It needs to be tied in with the solar plexus chakra or the heart chakra. Like we need to ground our ideas into things that people can really grab onto and will pay for. And the cool thing is you follow your passion, your inner work, and you can make money. It takes many, many years to be at a level of being able to help people of your inner work before you can go and do that. And then oftentimes it's not easy to charge. And so we have to be really strategic in how we go about putting our offerings together when it's crown chakra oriented. So energetically, my question is which chakras are most resonating with you right now? And you can go into the chat and just, was one sticking out like, oh, I'm so excited to explore the heart or the sacral or the solar plexus. And Jessica, you want to share?
Yeah, let's see. Right away, we've got solar plexus, throat, and crown, sacral and heart for sure. Solar plexus, throat, root, and crown. Solar plexus, I need to provide content and leave it to them. I feel confident in my root chakra, but want to explore sacral. Throat and heart, root, sacral, heart, throat, sacral, and solar plexus. I'm trying to think if there's any that we haven't heard.
I probably didn't sell the crown too well, but
yeah. Well, here's another crown at the end. Heart. Oh no, okay. Root, solar, heart, and crown.
Awesome. Okay, and do those business models, some of the ideas presented, or has it got you curious about like what you might create? Because again, there's a lot more here. I had to summarize, or we could be here all day. But like, there's so many things that fit into each of these, and I'll be sharing more of those probably at the time of the challenge. We'll figure out how to do that in a way, but again, remember I said you'll like activate. Once you tune into this energy, it will start to show you what's going to fit for the need. Focus on the need and then allow that magic to start coming through. Allow the need to be there. I want to feel loved and connected and appreciated. Like there's nothing wrong with that, right? Okay. So back to the better measure. I'm not going to go into this in too much detail, but I think this makes more sense now that we come back around here. Not only are we looking at these from the chakra, but once we do know what we want to do, we want to take some time to become familiar with due diligence. And this is one of the reasons why I think a lot of people don't have success in their ventures, is they don't ask themselves the right questions about the thing they're about to build. And we still have this problem. Like, we'll be in coaching and somebody will say, well, I'm building this thing and I've already done it. And I'm like, wait, stop, time out. Like, there's this tendency to jump ahead without really looking at, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Can you sell it? Is it going to give you the time freedom that you want? Is it aligned with your values? And, you know, like, you got to go through this to be able to grow and make sure that what you're creating is going to be something that you want to stick with, you want to pursue, you want to spend the time and the investment. We also, I mean, we're working on creating a rating system where you can go through and kind of know how to evaluate these different things that were on the last chart. And then I don't know what just happened. Okay, I guess that was my last slide. So we asked why you want to create it, just checking if it's changed at all during the course of our conversation, why you want to create it or what's coming up for you. If you want to share anything in there, like, why do you want to create it? Maybe you came in thinking time freedom, but you're actually realizing that there's like a personal passion here that you're not exploring or not allowing yourself to explore. Is that fair?
Bryn popped right in saying, now I want to have a ton more fun.
Oh,
that sounds good.
Me too.
Yeah,
that's
want
great.
to empower others. And what did that say? Definitely like being able to speak of my why in terms of the chakras. We'll be exploring this more. Yeah, there's a lot to it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just kind of touching.
Feeling compensated would motivate me to create so much more.
Yeah.
Enjoyment and fulfillment.
Yeah, this is when money gets a bad rap. Because if we've got money shadows, we'll just talk for a second because this is such a specialty of mine. If we've got money shadows and we're not letting ourselves understand what it would feel like to have a lot more money in our lives, we are not going to put the time and energy into creating this. It's just too much work, folks. So one of the reasons why we might not be moving forward is we still have some money work to do. Because we're still feeling guilt or shame or greedy or whatever. But when you really notice how money is merely a tool in order for you to make a bigger impact in the world and to show up in a more fulfilled, optimized, true self state of awareness, that's all money is doing. It's helping you get there. Because what you have to drop along the way many times with money is exactly what you need to drop in order to be the full you. See that? And so if we're just kind of, we never get to take the next step because we're so trapped in our stories about money, we don't even show up and try. And then we miss out. You heard me say the best experience of my life building that mastermind. It scared the crap out of me. There are still times where I'm like, wait, are they still going to come? We had one meeting a couple weeks ago and there was only a few people showed up and I was like, oh no, like I'm still like, it's too good to be true. Like I'm still working through that because it's so awesome. Like imagine living that way all the time. That's what we're talking about by being honest with ourselves about what we really want to create. So if you're feeling ready for visionary passive income, I think we talked about a lot of this, but I feel like let me just see. What are the reasons? We covered this. Research, wishy-washy. Can't be wishy-washy about this stuff. It doesn't really happen that way, or it can take many, many years. Let's put it that way. I think the other piece is really understanding our capacity for sales and marketing. You really do not create something until you know how you're going to sell it and you're going to market it. Please, 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 please. It's not a good way to go because you might create something that nobody wants, right? And in the end, everybody might want it, but you've jumped too far ahead too fast. and you're going to miss these core elements. And the gal that I was talking to earlier, she said, here's what we both learned through the School of Hard Knocks is if you're too general, nobody wants it. If you're super specific, a lot more people, and you really understand what your audience is looking for, you're going to have a lot higher chance of success. So she's like telling us, and you'll hear her on the podcast, her Ashley, what's her last name? I want to say Patrick, but she was saying how she created this product and it failed twice, and she was about to let it go, but then she couldn't let it go. And she went back and changed all the marketing and made it, instead of it being more general about money management, she just made it about paying off debt. And it was a runaway success just by that one shift. She's like, I teach the same stuff, but it was the way I was presenting it. So if she hadn't tried one more time, she would have missed out. And we all know that it's obviously working out for her now. So we want to help you get started on your passive income journey, no matter where you find yourself today. And like I said, there's this free challenge. We'll get you the link. In fact, Jessica, you could even post that. I just want to talk for a second. Oh, my photos turned out a little blurry. I love this quote from Mary Oliver. Tell me what it is you plan to do with your one wild and precious life. Like, such a beautiful quote. Like, tell me what you want to do with your precious life, because 2014, 7 years ago, that's when I first created the Wealth Clinic. And then I created the Wealth Flower exercise that year, that first year of my business, that became like our freebie, that giveaway. I decided to reinvent my life. And I knew that I looked at everything from this one wild, precious life, and I started creating everything different as a result of it. And I'm so grateful to my person that I was 7 years ago that I took that leap. But again, if I could leave you with anything about visionary passive income, is that what's most important for you is to know that you are unique. And there is no cookie cutter, perfect, right way that's just going to, make the sky part and the rainbows come out and the unicorns and all of that. Like, it's up to you to be in tune with yourself, really trust yourself and knowing yourself, and then going out into the world to create what is going to most be satisfying for you. That's all that matters. And that's what I've been creating for me. I got to give you a little synopsis of what we've done inside of my business to do this. I couldn't imagine living any other life. I'm incredibly grateful for.
Thanks for joining us for this workshop. I do hope that you now want to join us for the Passive Income Kickstarter Challenge. It kicks off on the 5th of September, Sunday night, the main event on Monday, the 6th. We'd love to have you there. We're going to go from A to Z about creating a passive income prototype, pre-selling it. You're going to learn everything you need to know. And I can't wait to see you there. So be sure to register. The link is in the notes, and I look forward to seeing you.